Well, why, hello there, everyone. It's Monday, and you know what Monday means? Monday means it's going to be a dirty threesome. That's right, a sloppy, wet, dirty, drunken threesome.
Yeah, dirty, filthy, sleazy threesome. And this evening, it's even going to involve a cyclops.
I got
And
nothing, guys.
as always, I am your pal, J.Ishiro, author and alien in a human suit. Links below. Buy my damn books. Next to me is my lovely and busty wife.
Yep, Cat Roja, the night editor, and with us as always is the beautiful, stunning, and talented Janelle.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Hope everybody's having a good Monday evening.
Yes.
Hey, look, there's only 2 people listening. Let everyone know we're live. I mean,
Well, no, we got Ironcast Knight, and we got In Disguise, and we got Wolf.
Catherine
We got
here.
Wolf.
okay, now we got 8 people.
There we go.
Okay,
Yeah.
8 people.
And Catherine, yes.
Catherine counts as 2.
Because she's just that awesome.
Yes, because she's just that awesome, actually.
We need to have her on again. I had fun with her last time.
Well, you know, you've been asking to do an epic rant about how much you hate feminism.
Yes.
And I think it would be a bonding moment between the 3 of you.
Well, if you want to hear a mini epic rant about feminism, I've got one for you. So my mom watches specific shows that can keep her calm. And the caregiver,
Sure, why not? Exactly.
The
2 very
caregiver
big
decided
extra people.
to put on Naked and Afraid for my mom to watch this weekend.
Well,
Wow.
And the people that I watched, there was a 38-year-old soy male and a hardcore lesbian. And the hardcore lesbian got kicked out of her house when she was 16, and she was literally a survivalist. And she actually kicked ass at this survivalist. I will give her that. But the guy was psychologically fucking with her, and she tapped out because she said that he reminded her of her horrible father and her mental health came first. And she had a fucking breakdown. I started laughing.
Oh
Wow.
my god.
Because her skin was so just like, dude, you're a fucking survivalist and you're gonna let this like pudgy 38-year-old man psych you out. But
Wait,
she was
wait.
curled up into a ball crying.
Who? Wait. She says she's a survivalist, and a pudgy 38-year-old man harms her mental well-being.
Yes, because he was actually putting them in danger.
Oh.
He kept not drinking water and getting dehydrated and then vomiting everywhere. Because watching the show, you find out they have to depend on each other to survive, get food, get shelter. And like he built this shelter that rain kept coming in. So then she built a shelter and it was better. And then after she tapped out and left, the first night he was by himself, he set his shelter on fire.
Oh
I was
my
having a great
god.
time watching the show.
Wow.
So I was like, okay, I actually was on the lesbian woman's side, but then she pulled the bullshit that we've seen with feminists. I was like, oh my God, don't do it. Please, please. But yeah, she left. It was so fucking bad. I loved it.
Well, I'm prepping for the end of the world, but this guy hurt my mental well-being, so I'm out.
That's exactly what it was. Like, holy
Seriously?
shit.
Like, geez, toughen up, bitch.
Like,
I can
why didn't she just
understand
fucking kick him out?
Yeah,
kick him out of the shelter.
I can understand the look, pull your weight and don't dick around. I can understand that attitude, but just I'm tapping out because just my mental well-being is more important. No, don't be a wimp.
Yeah, like I was like, dude, yeah, kick his ass out. He's costing you. Like she was boiling the water. She was the one that knew how to make deadfall traps. She was getting the food. She was making the fires, everything.
Yeah,
and she tapped out.
Yeah.
Like, holy
Wimp.
shit. So there's my feminism rant. I was like, wow.
Yeah, don't be a pussy.
Exactly. So anyway, sorry. I mean, I was in hysterics watching this thing. Like, I was like, why is this? First, I was like, why is this on? And then I was like, wait, don't turn it. This is great.
Okay, so now that we've gotten that out of your system, we're going to talk about something else. And hello there, fair maiden white.
Yes.
And Into Disguise says that we need to start late so that everyone will show up.
So we need to be fashionably late.
Well, no. What we just do from now on is we tell everybody that we start at 7 and then we don't start till 8.
Yeah, you, like Razor Fist?
Exactly. Exactly.
So Janelle has woke friends, unfortunately. I mean, I guess
Yeah.
points that she's managed to keep them, but she has woke friends. And one of her woke friends thought he could bribe her into watching She-Hulk with a 6-pack, as if there was enough beer in the world to make that tolerable.
I love this person to death. I mean, I truly, truly do. But I was just like, no. What I told Kat and Ishies, I told them that I have standards and I'm not going to watch it.
Well, that, and again, I honestly, I am baffled by somebody trying to bribe you with a 6-pack when you've been brewing like probably some of the most amazing, alcohol on the planet at the moment. So, is that really a bribe or is that a joke?
No, I think it was a bribe. But him and I will find beers from other places and bond over them. So, like, I will drink a beer and figure out how to clone it. And so that's probably where that was coming from. Like, I'll find a beer you haven't tried yet, you drink it, and then you can clone it, but you got to watch She-Hulk first. And like, nah. Because I've been seeing on social media how bad that show is. And I don't want to get into it, but her complaining getting cat calls is traumatizing to her.
Yeah.
While the Hulk had his own father try to kill him, his father killed his mother, experimented on him. The love of his life he couldn't be with. In the comics, he was with her, but the gamma radiation gave her breast cancer and she died. Do you remember when Betty Banner died of cancer because of him? Yeah. And you're going to say that fucking cat calls are traumatizing? You can kiss my fat white ass, bitch.
I am so done with listening to feminists go, you have no idea what it's like to live in fear. Every time I walk to the car, I have to keep my car keys between my fists just in case. Walking around at home, going home at night, I always have to look over my shoulders like, bitch, have you ever been mugged? No, really? You ever been shot in the back? No? Go fuck yourself.
Like,
I have.
I had one scary encounter with a guy who did not want to take no for an answer. And I actually had a friend drive me home. This guy had been trying to get, when we hung out at a coffee shop, he'd been trying to get every woman that was there to date him. And we all said no because he was a skeezy asshole. He followed me to my car and knocked on my window. And I rolled it down a little bit and he kept trying to push it down further and said, can you push it down further? I want to go out on a date with you. You need to say yes. I was like, no. And I started up my car. And luckily I had a male friend who saw what was going on and he followed me home. But cat calls are more traumatizing. Like, that was some scary shit. This is before I knew martial arts. This was before I was with Steve. So I was like 18, 19. That's when you should be scared. But a guy whistling at you because you look hot, give me a fucking break.
Yeah, I mean, living in San Francisco, it was a bizarre experience because, they've got that homeless problem. And this was in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
And just walking down the street, the predatory eyes at night of all the crackheads just kind of...
Yeah.
And you can tell they're like, okay, is he worth the fight?
So this was the early 90s, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so my parents took me to San Francisco twice, once in the mid 80s and once in the late 80s. There was a guy that was so cracked out, he was punching himself in the face. And then another guy actually tried to kidnap me right in front of my parents. He grabbed me and started pulling.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. And so I didn't go back to San Francisco again until the early 2000s, because that's when it had actually gentrified and wasn't shit for, like that 5-year window.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Steve's cousin was going to UC Berkeley, and so we stayed in San Francisco, and it was the first time I'd ever felt safe in that city. But like I said, it was only a 5-year window before they let it go to shit again.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, like I said, a homeless crackhead tried to take me. My dad had hold his arm because it was a shitty area of San Francisco. And even though holding onto his arm, this guy had the strength to rip me away. And if it wasn't for both my mom and my dad jumping on him, like who knows how far he would have dragged me away,
Yeesh.
So yeah, that I fucking hate that city. I hate that city so much. But yeah, like I said, cat calls are so damaging. Oh my God. I'm going to say as a woman, I loved getting cat calls. That made me
Same.
feel so good. That meant that I was hot and you found me attractive. Please keep cat calling.
Also, okay, it's one thing to bitch about being catcalled. It's like, oh, that so hard for you. You're so hot that people tell you so while you walk down the street. It's another, and it's fucking She-Hulk who's saying this.
Oh, I know.
It's like,
I remember.
excuse
Oh,
me.
go ahead.
No, just she's this 6'5" behemoth, beautiful, muscular, strong, bitching about getting cat calls. I mean, it just makes it worse, quite frankly.
One of the things that, yeah.
I was just going to say the She-Hulk I remember from the comics purposely stayed in her She-Hulk form because she knew she was hotter that
Yeah,
way.
she did.
Yeah. So what the fuck?
And like how many issues are there of her, ribbing Burns for drawing her nearly naked?
And another thing I want to say about, you don't know what it's like to be groped. You don't know what it's like. No, guess what? I lived in San Francisco. I definitely know what it's like to be groped.
Yeah.
By leather daddies. Yes, I do. On the subway.
Yeah, don't bitch.
So, shut the fuck up.
I've got another great San Francisco as a child story. So we were on the trolley car, and my dad, was 6 foot, muscled, very handsome, and a leather daddy kept flexing in front of my dad, thinking that he was totally going to woo him away from my mom. It was so funny. And my mom just kept laughing at the guy. And my poor dad was blushing. Like he could have kicked the guy's ass, but he's like, my daughter's right here. But my mom just kept laughing because the guy was like flexing his muscles and like would tighten up his ass through his tight pants, and she just kept busting out at the guy.
Again, come to think of it, the only time I ever saw one of these quote unquote harassments that could legitimately fit the stereotype was in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
And it was on board the Muni, which was public trans.
Mm-hmm.
And it was this black teenage boy who couldn't have been older than like 17.
Mm-hmm.
And he's walking up and down the bus. You want me to turn you out, bitch? I'll turn you out. We make a lot of money, you and me. Yeah, you look good, honey. You look good. We're going to make lots of money. Oh, how about you over there? You got it. Yeah, you're hot. We're going to marry. I'll be your pimp. I promise. I'll be real good to you, girl. It's like, oh my God.
That's fucking amazing.
And of course, because it's liberal San Francisco, everyone's just staring at each other. I'd say something, but I don't want to be racist.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. 17-year-old kid trying to pimp out people.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, this was also, back when that was the whole pimp thing with Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg was a pimp. Ice-T was a pimp. Like, yeah, the pimp phase.
Mm-hmm.
I miss those days. I miss the 80s and 90s.
Those days were so good. They really were.
Okay, what's this comment here?
Eloise, I want to watch a show where it's the reverse of the usual sitcom, where the one conservative friend is the oddball. A show with the woke friend being the oddball while the rest are normal. King of the Hill?
Yeah.
Yeah, King of the Hill's kind of close to that.
Married with Children?
I'd want one more brutal.
Married with Children?
No, Married with Children really wasn't conservative. That was just,
No, it was just honest.
yeah.
Yes. Oh, the goddamn bacon. I practice Choi Lee Fut, but also MMA. So I do grappling and sparring too. But the traditional martial art that I have learned is Choi Lee Fut.
I practiced Smith & Wesson 9mm.
I still need to go out and learn how to shoot a gun. Every time we've tried, something has happened.
You come out here, we'll do it.
Yeah,
You'll love
we'll do it. We'll do it. when you come
Okay.
out.
Yeah, it's literally not for lack of trying. There's always been a crisis. And I'm just like, dude, I just want to at least learn how to shoot a fucking shotgun. Just one gun, please.
Well, okay, Trenton, seriously, can you take us back out to that place that we went with your brother, and take us with
that was the best
with
time.
Janelle? Yeah, because Trenton took us out to this great place in the middle of the desert. So it was just, well, there were people around, but everyone else was out there for the same reason, and that was to shoot in the middle of nowhere.
To shoot shit up.
And that was amazing. I want to go back.
It's better than the range too, because it's just you. You're not like in these little booths right next to people.
No, they're like little campsites, but where people can shoot.
Okay, I'll be right back, George. You two talk.
Okay.
So I would like to learn how to shoot a rifle because I want to go hunting once in my life. On my bucket list, I would like to go elk and deer hunting and just do it once. And, shoot my deer. I want to be one of those people that PETA would hate. Skin it, salt it, pack it up, take it home, and just have my freezer full of deer meat till I'm done with it.
I'd love to go actual hunting as well. I feel as a meat eater that I should kill my food at least once in my life. So
Me too. As a carnivore, I'm like,
Mhm.
I should at least learn how to do one actual kill.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not going to cry about Bambi because Bambi looks like food. And I've had Bambi before. My friend made me pot roast, but he did it with venison, and he used strong coffee grounds to kind of get it
Ooh.
not to be as gamey. It was friggin' delicious. He put like rosemary and potatoes and carrots. And so you would do like a regular pot roast, but he did it with venison. And I'd brought mead with me to their house. So we kept getting drunk munchies. So we just go back and eat more venison. It was so good. But that was when I was like, I need to kill a deer or an elk and then actually be taught how to skin it. Just like I said, just once in my life. I probably will love it.
I think you would love it, honestly.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know very much. What I've learned about guns is from Fallout. So, like a nice 308 rifle, with a good scope. I wouldn't mind. I mean, in Fallout, I actually am a heavy gunner with a 50 cal machine gun. But I mean, I carry around my
stuff down with that.
Yeah, I carry around my rifle that takes 308, and that's what I use to snipe. But yeah, it's like it sounds fun.
No, I'm totally there. I mean, I will say the only thing that I'm hesitant about is not the kill itself. It's that I am a firm believer in, you try to make it as easy and painless on the animal as possible. And I'm not there yet. I mean, I'm a decent shot, but I don't think I'd be able to do a clean kill, at least not yet. I need a lot more experience, probably killing paper before I try doing that.
Oh no, absolutely. I don't believe in animal suffering. Like that's awful when people do that. I don't like it. But so I'm like you. I would have to at least have a few years of killing paper and tin cans under my belt before I actually go out and hunt. So now, since you do archery, have you ever thought about doing the hardcore hunt where you kill with the bow and arrow? Like, what's his Remy Warren?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I totally want to actually go hunting with my bow.
I mean, would you really feel bad about a chihuahua?
No. No, I would not. But yeah, no, I would totally go hunting with my bow. I need some more time to practice, and once the weather gets cooler, I can finally get out there and start shooting again because it's just been too fucking hot.
I mean, how about goats? I mean, nobody likes goats.
We could keep goats.
Fuck no.
Well,
They're nature's lawnmowers.
they're nature's lawnmowers. They'd eat those stupid weeds that we keep getting.
They're fly magnets.
No, only their poop is. And as long, you can there's things you can do to mitigate that. And if we get Angoras, we can shear them and sell the wool. That's what my cousin did.
Wait, I have a good goat story if you guys want to hear it. It's totally random. Okay, so when my son was in kindergarten, his teacher was actually a homesteader. And so she took the kids to an actual farm for a field trip, and I was one of the chaperones, and I had my group of kids, and they took us to see the goats, and the kids were all about petting the goats, and then you see one of the kids kind of furrow their brow and like, what's going on with their butthole? And I look, and the butthole, you can see it's getting ready to poop, where it's like pulsating, and then opened up and just a flood, and the kids ran screaming. They all ran hid behind me, and I was laughing.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And they were like, one of the little girls is like, I don't like goats anymore. Granted, these are like a bunch of 5-year-olds.
Well, what I actually, people thought I'd be horrified, but instead I thought it was hilarious when I found out that at the San Diego Zoo, the petting zoo there is actually where they keep the food for the carnivores. So all those goats and sheep and everything that you're petting, that's lion food.
That's rad. No, I don't think I'd have told the kids that. I just thought it was really funny that the kids loved the goat until it opened its butthole and pooped. Then all of a sudden it was like, run away!
I'm like, I'm just pooping. Quite frankly, I found their eyes more scary than anything.
Yeah, that sideways iris.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little bleh.
All right. So because She-Hulk came up and the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde metaphor came up as well, which Kat has some comments on.
Well, I have comments on Jekyll and Hyde, yes, and people are absolutely correct. Banner and Hulk is a Jekyll and Hyde metaphor. So,
the comics industry in the 80s gave us another quintessential boobs of steel heroine in the form of John Byrne's She-Hulk. Created in 1980 by Stan Lee and John Buscema in response to the popularity of the Bionic Woman, the character started life as merely a knockoff of Hulk. The title bombed, and rightfully so. Aside from a gender swap, the Savage She-Hulk offered readers absolutely nothing new. Fans had been reading about Dr. Bruce Banner's monstrous anger issues for years. Seeing the same act rehashed in drag wasn't enough to hold the audience's interest. That all changed in 1982 when artist-writer John Byrne took the reins and gave She-Hulk a complete redesign. Choosing to base her look on 7-time Miss Olympia winner Corey Everson was a stroke of genius. Giving the character Everson's toned hourglass figure and bigger bust line instantly made her more palatable, and a stark contrast to her beastly male counterpart. Even She-Hulk's face, hairstyle, and mischievous grin were borrowed from Everson's trademark Power Beauty look. And for those wondering, yes, Everson really did look that good. Another brilliant move by Byrne was to change the nature of She-Hulk's psychological transformation. As mentioned in the introduction, when the uptight, mousy Jennifer Walters frees her animus, what emerges isn't rage, but repressed sexuality. Like her male counterpart, Walter turns green and grows an abundance of muscle, but never becomes inhuman or grotesque. She's reborn as a hard-bodied beauty who is as sexy as she is strong and brimming with confidence. She enjoys being She-Hulk. There isn't the great torment for her like it is for Bruce Banner, says Byrne, of Walter's transformation. And why wouldn't she? Becoming She-Hulk unleashed the free-spirited sexual goddess that once lived only in her deepest fantasies. Not surprisingly, this fantasy self also includes a pair of Hulk-sized knockers. Consequently, former Marvel editor and chief Dan Slott has commented on many occasions that She-Hulk is the strongest and bustiest heroine of the MCU. So there you go. I've been writing about this.
Mhm.
Hey, speaking of Dan Slott, did you see the new insult he did today that came out? So Reed
No.
Richards has a half sister that he just found out about.
Just now, after how many decades?
Exactly. She is a POC, so she's a person of color, and
What?
she's smarter and better than Reed.
Is she now? Does she also have his amount of being a sociopath?
She just comes off as a bitch. She's rude to him and his family. Like, she's like, I was all by myself and I made it without help. So yeah, Dan Slott. So now I understand why they killed off Mr. Fantastic so quickly in Multiverse of Madness. Guess who they're probably going to be introducing?
Does she have stretchy tits?
No.
Oh.
Look it up.
Think
Look
of
it
the
up.
nipple
Dan
play.
Slott, Reed Richards' lost sister.
Oh, Doom tapped that. Hey, Reed, I nailed your sister. I don't have a sister.
No,
sure you don't.
What would be funnier is if it turned out that she was like a Doombot just there to piss on Reed
There you go.
and give him white guilt.
There you go.
That's exactly
Suffer.
That's exactly what's going on. Because who was it that somebody said that Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, Moon Girl was supposed to be smarter than Reed, and then she kind of disappeared, and Reed's daughter is supposed to be smarter than him, but that made sense, his child being a genius. Okay, yeah, that's understandable.
I didn't know Reed had a daughter.
Yeah, Valeria. And she's actually, she's a genius, but they didn't do it as like, oh, I'm better than my dad. They established her as a genius before things got woke. So he's got a son that can make universes on his own and a daughter who's a super genius. I mean, not bad. But yeah, when I saw that today, it's just like Dan Slott. Oh my God.
Okay, it says Huntra or Huntara. I take it that's a different long lost sister.
Must be, because this chick is supposed to be a marine biologist.
Oh. So he has two long lost sisters. All right. Yeah, why the fuck not? No. I swear the plot should be that it's a Doom bot, because Doom knew that, being that Reed Richards is woke now, he would be destroyed by white guilt.
Oh, wait, In Disguise said he knows about it. She blamed him for not looking for her when he did not know about her. But in the same breath, she knew about him for years, but never made contact.
You know what? You said she was a person of color.
Yes.
She looks exactly like I imagined. Headband and dreads.
Yep. And
I was imagining cornrows.
Somebody who's supposed to be half white, she doesn't look half white. She looks like she's full-blown black.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, was this like back on the plantation that Daddy Richards had, and he had a maid, and
the plantation of what, the 70s?
Well, apparently, according to BLM, slavery never really ended, or ended in 1982.
Well, then maybe they should stop taking the welfare. I'm sorry.
I find it so insulting that they just keep bringing out these characters. Who was it? Was it Eric July or somebody else? I know Eric July has been getting so much shit for creating the Rippaverse. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Because he was actually on Fox News, and I guess Isom is the first comic is really taken off, but everybody's calling him a traitor. I'm like, no, the guy is just tired of wokeness. He still created a black character with nuance, but yeah, shit on him because he went on Fox News.
Does that mean Reed is half black?
Well, he is a grower.
Yeah, what happened is he actually got melanin powers when he went through the dimension porthole.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, when the solar flares, gamma radiation hit him, he got melanin powers.
I want to to ask you guys a question or opinion. Do you think that these writers fetishize Black women, like
Yeah.
Brian Michael Bendis and Dan Slott?
Mm-hmm.
It's creepy
Because
as fuck.
yeah, it doesn't seem like they're actually doing it to give a voice to minorities, really. Like, it doesn't
Well,
seem like that. It seems like one, they're trying to get points.
Riri Williams is a po girl from the ghetto who made her outfit out of garbage.
Out of trash cans.
Yeah, are you really going to tell me that that's empowering?
Well, I mean, like, think about when Miles Morales first came out. Like, he didn't suck, you know? I
Yeah.
wasn't happy with the way that the character was created. I thought it was bullshit, but the character didn't suck. And now you've got alternate versions of him who, like, that. I think I told you guys about that before. The world tree grew in Brooklyn or some shit, and he's tagged up Mjolnir, and he's Thor, and he's wearing a fucking hoodie and Air Jordans.
No.
Like, can you be any more stereotypical? I mean, this kid's also supposed to be a genius, and he's won a scholarship to a private school, and you have him dressing like he's in the hood.
Like, I was incredibly impressed with the Spider-Verse with him.
Oh,
That
Into the
movie?
Spider-Verse?
Yeah,
Yeah, that was a good movie.
that was an amazing movie, and really that sold me on Miles Morales. I'm like, okay, he's not just a one note let's throw some color on some classic white characters. Like, no, he's this movie earned his place in the MCU, and I was very happy about that. And so to find that, what Marvel takes, gives with one hand, they take away with the other. It was like, we can't have nice things.
Well,
No,
Rogue
we
Boner, who still has the most awesome name ever. If melanin power be soul and compassion, well, what are Caucasian powers? Civilization and invention or something? What?
It upsets me, I guess. It's not that everything's woke. It's that these people are fucking hypocrites.
Mm-hmm.
We've gone well past woke, and you're right, it is fetishization. And it's the same fetishization that we're seeing in advertising. I mean, haven't you noticed the tone of the way Black people are portrayed in commercials now? I mean, every time you see a commercial with Black people, it's like this sort of, aren't Black people so darling? Have you noticed that?
Like the Liberty Mutual where the fat guy is knitting things for his dog.
Yeah, or what was it, the dental commercial where the old Black guy's just sitting there with big giant white grin, nodding like an idiot.
At his dentist.
Yeah.
It's like, that only works if you've been hit with the nitrous, dude.
The Granger ad. I mean, it's just this continual flow of, these aren't human beings being portrayed. These are like the equivalent to those porcelain black salt and shaker, pepper shaker people you'd see.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, they're basically play school people.
Porch monkeys.
Weebles. They're like weebles.
Weebles, yes.
These are not being portrayed as human beings. These are images that make a certain segment of NPR listeners very comfortable.
Yeah, because Original Storm actually frightens them, and Amanda the Waller terrifies them.
I mean, for some reason, they are thoroughly in love with the image of the bitchy white woman who shits on successful white men. That really does something for them.
I was just gonna say, I mean, Wolf had a point. He said, "Call them what they really are, racists." And yes, I think they're racists. And the only people this pleases are radicalized white liberal women and soy men, beta cucks. That's it.
There's some other types too. I am going to bring this up. We were in Atlanta for a convention, which was creepy as fuck. But we were there with Ishi's parents, and his dad loved tipping the black doorman, the black bellboy.
Oh.
He'd ask somebody for directions, and it was always some black guy, and he loved tipping them. He got off on constantly tipping people.
That's disgusting.
And
Yeah.
what it was, and I remember the breakfast. One of the staff is sitting there
Mhm.
talking to me. He's like, "Oh, well, you know what's a good place around here?" No, I'm just chatting with him. I remember.
Yeah, we were just and just, hey, you know the area. What's a good place? We're used to doing that everywhere we go.
So we're just sitting here talking to this dude, right? And I just think, okay, well, that's cool.
Mhm.
And I thank him, and that's
And
that.
that was it. In fact, the dude just walked away from the table.
Then my dad comes over and says, "You know, you're supposed to give him $1 after he does that."
Like,
and I just
what?
wanted to fucking punch him.
That's so demeaning.
It's like, seriously, Dad? Yeah. This is I guess what peak liberalism here.
Yeah.
Mr.
Enlightened.
Mr. Enlightened NPR closet commie wannabe, my father.
Yeah.
Ex hippie.
Of course, this is also the guy
who takes credit for the civil rights movement. My generation freed the blacks.
This is also the guy who thought it would be a great fun thing to do.
That was the most uncomfortable thing I ever did in my life.
Yes, it was. Okay. If you've ever read Gone with the Wind, there's a character named Aunt Petty who has a house on Peachtree Street. Peachtree Street actually does exist for those who have not been to Atlanta. And there actually is a restaurant at the spot where her house was supposed to be called Aunt Petty's Porch.
Wow.
The wait staff are of a particular pallor.
Oh.
It is pre-Civil War South.
In theme and everything.
LARPing.
Yes, LARPing. And yeah, it was really uncomfortable when I looked around and I realized all the wait staff were of a particular pallor, and all of the people eating there were of the opposite.
It just made me ill.
That's disgusting.
And
holy shit.
And his dad was like chomping at the bit, wanting to eat there.
No. Not only was he pushing for it, why did we supposedly go?
Because it was your birthday.
Yeah, my fucking birthday present. Oh, thanks. That's really what I wanted to do.
Yeah, take me to the restaurant, Dad. Thanks a lot.
That was like the last thing I wanted. It was so not for me. It was...
Putting it mildly.
God.
So that's the other type of people who I think enjoy this bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, well, I won't use their names, but you remember I had a aunt and uncle who were also hippies, who were good NPR listeners and watched the PBS NewsHour and all that. Do you remember the weird black fetishization they had going on in their house too?
No, I'm used to the Mexican side.
Yeah, that too, the Mexican fetishization.
Yeah, and the yellow fever.
Dear God.
Among my family?
Your uncle.
My dad. Okay, but
no, your uncle just was all over.
Oh, when he suddenly decided he was going to become obsessed with Japan.
Yeah, but he didn't want. He said he was obsessed with Japan, but he didn't like what he was being obsessed with.
He didn't like hearing the truth.
No, he didn't. Like, no, they're not all full of Zen eating sushi.
He didn't like me correcting him.
No.
But
he also really didn't want to believe that Godzilla is an intellectual film. Gojira?
Yeah.
Well, it's silly and campy. It's like, no, Gojira is actually really, smart and deep.
Okay, look, if you're gonna like Kurosawa films, you have to like Honda. Because Ishiro Honda was his second unit director.
Yes.
He didn't just do Godzilla or Gojira.
No.
He was the second unit director and assistant to most of those Akira Kurosawa films.
Specifically Yojimbo and Seven Samurai.
and they used a lot of the same actors. So you can't say, oh, they're shitty actors in one film and then suddenly praise them as artistes
No.
in another.
Don't be Siskel and Ebert.
Jesus.
Anyway.
Okay,
no,
I derailed us.
No, that's okay.
No,
That's
no.
okay. I mean,
That's okay.
the fetishization of Black people in this country has gotten really creepy.
I agree.
I mean, we've been here before. I mean, remember the whole thing about Latinos in the 90s?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then it was Chinese people with, oh God, what was her name? Amy Tan.
Yeah, Amy Tan, Michelle Kwan.
Yeah, there was the whole Chinese fetish.
Mm-hmm.
What about in the early 2000s when all of a sudden street racing was a big deal and all of a sudden the fetishization was Japanese girls, not waifus, but hot Japanese girls. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
I don't recall that being as bad though, because those seemed mostly like horny college guys. It wasn't liberals pretending to be cultured and enlightened.
Okay, yeah, that is true. Because
I mean, those were just guys who were like, "Hey, I want the hot Asian."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, okay.
Of course, these are also the guys who would carry around a wallet full of pictures of all the Acuras they smashed.
No. Those were the Chinese kids.
No, those were not just the Chinese.
Oh,
kids.
really?
Yeah.
No, I just remember in Scripps Ranch there were all those Chinese racers.
No, that was also
that were sons of doctors.
It was the Chinese racers, but it was also the white kids.
Yeah, because there was this thing in Scripps Ranch. Well, you probably know about this. There were all the racers, and all the sons of rich doctors, all the Chinese doctors, their sons were all racers, and usually had like 5 to 10 cars they had totaled and had pictures in their wallets
of the totaling, and Dad here just buy them a new one.
Well, fuck! Remember the time we were at your mom's house and one of them went over the hill?
Yeah, that was hilarious.
He's like, we didn't find it till the next shit.
Well, we even went out there looking for
it. We saw the car and then we heard it go and we thought, okay, that sounded awful. And then we go outside and there's nothing there.
Well, we even had our flashlights looking down the hill that it barreled down, but it was a black car at night on a street with no lights, and it turned out he turned off his lights. So
yeah. Oh, we lost Janelle. I think we were too offensive. No, I'm kidding. Yeah.
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh.
Don't know why. She'll probably come back. But anyway.
Hippies hate water. Is that like Taz hate water?
Taz like magic.
Taz like magic. Goddamn bacon. Not gonna lie, I kind of wish this BLM obsession worked in my favor on the dating apps.
Oh, are you Black?
Yeah.
If you are, let's hear how much. Do you agree? Are you sick of this shit too? Of this specific portrayal of Black people that makes certain white liberals comfortable or feel good about themselves?
God, it makes me ill.
Because you know what? I remember, and I wish Janelle was on because she'd join us on this. You know, near the end of the 90s and then the aughts, where no one gave a shit anymore.
I remember that.
God, I miss that. Where no one gave a damn. Okay, yeah, we all knew that to a degree racism existed. But you know what? Who cares? So fucking what? We could laugh at it. We were finally all getting into that South Park mindset of who the fuck cares?
Well, it was. My memory is that it was mutual all around. We could all say awful things about each other,
and did.
I mean, like the Mad TV sketch where it's like the underground of the Black movement.
Oh yeah,
underground doing their 2 a.m. broadcast, and he's going through the list of all of the things white people are scared at, and he says a Black guy standing behind you at an ATM, and then the host looks straight at the camera and says, that kind of scares me too. I mean, come on.
No, I liked the one where they were going down the list of, okay, we're going to start changing all the cool words so that the white people get it wrong again.
Yeah. Oh, and they pick Ebola.
Yes. Ebola was the new cool.
Yep. That's
Sorry
Ebola.
about that, guys. Like the circuit tripped and everything in the dining room just went bloop.
Oh, geez.
Yep. Oh,
Everything
it's
okay?
fine. Yeah, everything's fine. It just, yeah. I was like, oh shit, that's not good.
No.
So sorry about that little delay, guys. I'm back. What did I miss for like the 2 minutes I was gone?
We're saying horrible things. It's all good. Acid Trip says, tipping the doorman because he's colored. Jesus, not even the Southern folks libs think are racist would do that to me when I worked at Waffle House. Your dad's a dick.
Agreed.
That's
Well-
just fucking awful.
Well,
I
you
would be
see-
so embarrassed.
See, growing up in California in the 80s and 90s, the race thing, I mean, aside from, I guess, South Central LA, it just wasn't an issue.
Mm-mm.
I mean, other than that area, that one area, it really was not an issue. So it was kind of invisible to me. I mean, it was just like the whole thing with like anti-Semitism. I was like, I'd never encountered any of it. It was like, well, what anti-Semitism? Oh, then I got to San Francisco. Yeah, it was like, oh, it's here.
It's like, okay, I grew up in Inglewood. It's like, okay, I'm in a shit neighborhood, and that's just the way it is. But if I go over the hill in Westchester, I don't have a problem, and it's not, limited to skin color.
Right.
You know?
But then to go to Atlanta and watch my dad act like this was just stomach turning.
Yeah.
I didn't have that. I was going to say, I didn't have that experience. I grew up a privileged upper middle class white girl that went to an upper middle class school with a bunch of rich Chaldeans. That was weird. Oh, and a lot of Mexicans, though, that lived out in Hamul and like did rodeo and shit. That was kind of cool.
That is cool, actually.
Yeah. So we also, I have to say, we also had a lot of East Asians. There were a lot of Chinese and Koreans at our school, but I think that's because all their parents were doctors and they were rich. So they lived out in my neck of the woods. Because Rancho San Diego and Hamul, that's like where like all the wealthy people live. So I didn't have that experience that you guys had. But my dad worked at inner city schools, so he wasn't a racist.
Yeah. Look, okay, here was a joke that was commonly said at my high school, okay? And remember, half my school is black. Hey, what's 8 inches in white? What? Nothing!
I love that.
It's like, and nobody cared. Okay, it just wasn't a fucking issue.
We had there was a white chick that was dating a black guy, and they used to joke around when I was in high school that they were Jungle Fever. Wow. I don't know if you remember that Spike Lee movie, Jungle Fever.
Yeah.
They would joke around that they were Jungle Fever.
For me,
nobody cared.
It was weird for me because again, I grew up in Inglewood, and then when I did get to Scripps Ranch, yes, there weren't many black kids, but the ones that were there were actually getting good grades, and they may have acted ghetto, but it was obvious that their grades weren't ghetto. But
okay, I'm gonna be honest. Seeing nerdy white kids act ghetto was hilarious.
No. What I was gonna say is there was a large group of Filipino gangbangers or wannabe gangbangers where their parents were doctors and lawyers or whatever, but they'd show up wearing wife beaters, the Mr. T gold chains, but there was always the little Buddha pendant in there that they would always wear. And they would always trying to act hard, especially the girls.
Which is silly because Filipinos are largely not Buddhist.
They
Catholic and Muslim.
They all have these little fake jade Buddha pendants around their necks. And I think it's Buddha. If it's something else, I do apologize. If you actually know what it is, please let me know. But I always thought that they were Buddhas.
What, it looked like Hotai?
No, it looked like Siddhartha.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
But it was this little jade pendant. It was plastic jade in a faux gold holder. around their necks with the Mr. T chains. Even the girls were doing it, and they were all throwing fake gang signs and shit like that. And all of them, again, including the girls, had their pants hanging down around their knees because you got to sag. You totally got to sag if you want to represent. And they'd try to intimidate us, and we're goth kids. We just sit there and laugh at those. Like, yeah, fine, try to intimidate us, like we give a shit. But there was a large group of them at this school. It was very strange going from Inglewood to that.
This was at Scripps Ranch?
This was at Scripps Ranch, yeah.
I never saw that shit.
Okay, I've got a fun story about that, but
real quick, the Scripps Ranch was the main part of the school was on 2 levels, and underneath where the library was, there was this tunnel that would take you to the back lot of the school that now they've got actual buildings, but at the time they just had bungalows. That's where we usually sat because it was like the furthest place from the sun. That's where all of these we called them chiggers hung out because, well, that's how they acted.
I remember that.
And so that might be why you didn't see many of them, because they all hung out under the library where we hung out.
God.
Okay,
Oh,
so
shit.
first off, Wolf. You see, the thing is that always blows me away because when I look at the screen, I see funny names and icon and avatars. I mean, unless you have got an avatar with a picture in it, like Unqualified is frankly still a Ninja Turtle in my brain.
Well, In Disguise is just a green eye.
And Catherine, it's because I've actually seen Catherine. We've talked face to face. So, I mean, for the most part, yeah, you're all just avatars and fun names. I mean, who the hell? What was it? Goddamn Bacon. I mean, other than a great fucking name.
You can all call me slow. It took me forever to realize that Marv Alice was female. So
or that was Marvelous.
And it was supposed to be Marvelous. It's like, yeah, I'm slow. I'll admit
You're
it.
not the only one. I thought Marvelous was Marv Alice for the longest time.
Marvelous is Marv Alice. That's kind of a drag queen name, though. Seriously.
It's a good name, though.
Yeah. So, no. Regarding the Filipino kids who pretended they were ghetto and hard.
Yeah.
Do you remember the story I told you from when I went to Platt College?
At this very moment, no, but I bet once you launch into it.
Okay, in college, I went to a couple colleges after San Francisco. I finished up at a graphic design school or academy.
Mm-hmm.
And, we had to take some prerequisite classes, and one of them was a speech class, and you had to give a speech. And there was one guy there that was a Filipino kid, gave the most incredible speech. I mean, he was actually very good at storytelling. But he was talking about in his youth, he was one of those Filipino racers who thought he was hard. And, they'd go out and race cars and get in fights, and he'd gone to jail multiple times, and he's just like, yeah, whatever. I don't care. Whatever. Right. I'm hard. Right. And then once he got arrested for fighting in public, him and his homies, and there'd been an overflow at the jail, apparently.
Oh, this story. I do remember.
So they sent him to the holding cell for all the people that are about to be shipped out to prison.
Mm-hmm.
So he was no longer in the drunk tank or just in the jail, but he was there with hardened gang members and, Tijuana drug runners and white supremacists from Santee.
Yeah.
And he said it was the scariest thing that had ever happened to him. And that they had one payphone there, and that there was this huge black guy with this little Asian dude who was this bitch. And somebody came up to this kid. He's like, I'm just going to tell you, you Asian boys are the closest to women we have around here. And apparently, he's on the phone to his mom crying, Mom, I'll never gangbang again. I'll go to school. I'll get good grades. I'm sorry. And that was why he was at college. Was he'd been scared straight after that.
Oh my
Hey.
God, that is a great story. Well, is it because all the Asian men are hairless and smooth?
And they've got the most yachtness faces. You know what I mean by that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, well, let's face it. I mean, how long did I look boyish?
You stopped?
I stop. Oh, I still do.
To a certain extent,
Well,
yeah.
that's good. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's
Especially
just
when you're smooth shaven.
softer features, and yeah, hair growth is a lot slower, a lot slower.
Mm-hmm.
But let's see.
Yeah, I realized that we completely derailed the
Oh,
thing
who
that I
cares?
wanted to talk about tonight.
Oh, yes.
No, we don't have to talk about it. I think it's so funny that I'm like, okay, we have a topic, and then it's like, let's shit talk everything else. Fuck the topic. That's the best part about this show. It's like we have a plan, and then the show starts. It's like, fuck the plan. Who cares?
This
I
is
love it.
Monday Night Threesome's always like that.
I know.
No,
It's like
I'm
the
gonna have to take
best.
this show down because of a couple words I used, but yeah, I know.
Hippies?
Yeah, hippies.
Oh my God.
No, something regarding porches.
Oh.
Oh, really? What episode was that? I don't remember
It was
that.
earlier this evening.
Oh, okay. It's like, wait, I don't remember that. Did I miss something?
I'll use it again. I mean, when I was at 21st Circuitry Records, in the music industry, there was a band called, was it Non-Aggression Pact? And
Oh, for a second, I thought it was Potty Mouth Sissies using
no.
it.
let's see if I can pull them up here. No, the band, not what it really is. Here we go. Non-Aggression Pact, urban electro-industrial music band from Tampa, Florida.
Oh, Florida.
And they were with Reconstruction Records, which was actually in San Diego, by the way. And they did a lot of, they were industrial with kind of a slight touch of rap music to it. And the label owner at 21st Circuitry, Don Blanchard, was really interested in signing them. They had already been picked up, but they had a side band that they were looking for a label for. And, to this day, I don't know if they were fucking with him or if they really meant it. Because, actually, let's go down. Well, Five Honky Wreckage is one of their album names, so maybe they weren't kidding.
Five Honky Wreck-It. Yeah, that is indeed what it says. Okay.
But yes, I mean, they even here's them with Exorcists. They even worked with a 21st Circuitry band. But to this day, I don't honestly know if they were serious or if they were doing it just to fuck with Don. But Don really wanted to sign them, and they said, okay, but we've kept this really secret. If you pick us up, you have got to use the name that we've chosen for this project. And he's like, okay, sure, whatever. Porch Monkey. And he's like, I'm not signing it. No. And, to this day, I don't know if they did that just to get rid of him or if that was really what they were going to call it.
Well, I mean, that can't be that bad because No Effects had an album called White Trash, Two Heaves and a Bean.
That was Gen X.
Huh?
But that was Gen X.
Oh, that's true.
We're now the woke 2020s, where I guess making fun of melanin magic is racist.
Ugh.
Acid Trip says, I remember watching that movie where Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy become stockbrokers, and Dan came into a train car wearing blackface with my
Trading
friend
Places.
Dave.
Trading Places. That is a fantastic movie.
I'm just picturing Dan Aykroyd in blackface. It's just, wow.
He dresses like a pimp at one point too.
Well, he was in Nothing But Trouble.
That movie's so fucked up. He has a penis for a nose.
Yeah, and that was his idea.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that was his idea, and it was supposed to get bigger and more penile every scene.
Are you
Nothing with Trouble, but Trouble's kind of an interesting film because this was after Ghostbusters. So they're like, okay, you're a genius. Make whatever you want. And he made that film, and the studio said, we're never doing this again.
That movie's pretty fucking dark, man.
Yeah,
It's not what I was expecting when I first saw it. I was like, Jesus.
I
But
remember
the penis knows.
visiting my dad, because I was still on visitation with him, and we'd spent all day working on his house because he built he bought a garbage house and we were making it livable. And so we all took a break for like an hour just to cool off, and then we were all going to go to dinner. And we turned on the TV, and Nothing But Trouble, strangely enough, was on Channel 11 in Los Angeles. And we all were just transfixed by this movie, jaws on the floor, not moving, not talking to each other. Nobody wanted to move or leave until the film was over. And then we looked at the clock, and it's like, okay, it's coming up 10 p.m. We're not going to dinner.
I also like that movie because Digital Underground does a cameo in it. That was fun.
Oh,
That was
God,
one of
yeah.
the few
I
rap
forgot
bands
about
from the
that.
90s that I liked.
The Humpty Hump.
Yeah. The Humpty Man. Do the Humpty Hump. That's a good movie. I wouldn't mind watching that again. But
Well,
I
that's
mean,
one of those things where it's like, how did this get made?
yeah, especially with all the death scenes in the river of shit that surrounded the house.
The fact that it was a comedy, but yet they're running people through a wood chipper on a roller coaster.
Yes.
There was a way back in the day, back in high school, I never got to do it, but I wanted to run Nothing But Trouble as an adventure for riffs.
I could see that.
That would be fun.
That would be a lot of
where
fun.
the party just gets captured by some weirdo and running a little fiefdom in the middle of nowhere in the wasteland.
Of course, I could see that for Cyberpunk too.
Yeah, but Riffs was a bit more gonzo. I mean, it was an anything goes setting.
Yeah, but you had your characters Keith and I can't remember the other character, and like in the shit that they would get involved with, so they'd fit right in with a Nothing But Trouble setting.
Yeah, they would. I don't know who Randall's grandma is, Rogue Boner. Sorry.
I was going to say that it's too bad that Battletech no longer stayed under the Palladium banner.
Oh, no, they never were. That was
they never
FASA.
were? Oh, I swore that Battletech tied into Palladium at one point.
No, that was, you're thinking Robotech.
Robotech.
And those
I should
books
know.
were
The
awesome.
fucking books are right behind me. I'm such an idiot.
No,
Like, I'm
it's
looking
late.
right now. Southern
it's late
Cross.
And you had a bad night. And don't feel bad. I will have to sit and think. I go, am I talking about Robotech or Battletech? Because I get them, switched in my brain too. So
well, they're two cool games. Or there's a cool anime that is all about like awesome mecha, and then you have a game that used to be cool, but now is woke as fuck. That was all about stomping mecha. So.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, BGC. I remember the Disposable Heroes of Hypocrisy. That was again one of those phenomena that probably could only happen in the early '90s, and it worked. Rogue Boner. No, they weren't really new metal. I mean, this was the early '90s, so that didn't exist yet.
Oh,
okay.
Now I always get confused. Okay, because
Static
I remember
X. New metal, Static X.
Okay, because I always thought new metal was like Metallica's Black Album. That's what I always considered new metal. I didn't realize that Static X was more new metal. Okay.
New metal, what? Evanescence, Static X, I guess Korn. No, Korn was new metal. Drown. I don't know. New metal was interesting. I mean, it got a lot of shit, but for every Disturbed. For every cringeworthy, terrible band that came out, you got a Static X or an Evanescence. So,
I will say when Korn first came out, they didn't suck. But Jonathan Davis pulled a Trent Reznor, and like the first album was all about the pain and torture of him being abused as a child. So you got all the pain and angst, and then like they sucked afterwards.
So, speaking of sweet trans werewolves, were we going to have Shanae on again? Do you think we'll be up to it next week?
Shanae.
I wouldn't mind Shanae, though. I also told Wolf that I need to do another Boondocks episode with him because Steve and I are rewatching the Boondocks from the beginning, and we are laughing our asses off.
Do you two want to come on and talk about it? I tried to do a Boondocks episode with Wolf, but I really kind of feel like I failed.
No, I was on that episode with you, and it was more Wolf just being Uncle Ruckus and Grandpa, which I was totally fine with. But yes,
yeah, it wasn't really a review. That's why I say I feel like it kind of failed.
Well, I'd never seen the pilot before until it was on HBO Max. And so Steve and I watched it for the first time and we were dying. Like, I love that show so much. And Aaron Magruder predicted so much. Like the second episode of the first season is the original R. Kelly trial.
Oh, wow.
Well, here's the interesting thing about Magruder, okay? Magruder is, in a way, and this is going to sound like a weird connection, is a lot like The Wire, in that I forgot his name. The two dudes who made The Wire, one of them's a communist. Same thing with Magruder. But while their solution for the problem is thoroughly fucking wrong, they were so honest in portrayal of the problems, it didn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that is true.
So, yeah, it doesn't really matter that because he doesn't preach communism. He's just pointing out the issue. And it was so damn honest. It doesn't really matter that he's a delusional commie who thinks that Bernie Sanders is going to save him.
Hey, Mark Moseray, my favorite character is Grandpa because he was voiced by the late, great John Witherspoon, who was the dad on Friday.
Oh.
Yeah. That's why
geez.
I'm very worried about this reboot because he passed away. I'm like, you can't get anybody to be Grandpa. Like, he was Grandpa.
There's
that's why Grandpa was the best character.
Yeah, there's some characters where, you can't replace them.
And Ed Asner was the voice of Onceler, Mayor Onceler. And he passed away. So who are you going to get to replace him? You can't do that. I don't think they should be doing a reboot at all. No. The only reason they're probably doing it is because of Regina King. Because she was the voice of Huey and Riley. And she's the one that was on the HBO horrific Watchmen reboot where she ended up getting the powers of Dr. Manhattan at the end because Dr. Manhattan fell in love with her and decided to die and give her his powers.
Why would he do that?
I don't know.
That goes completely contrary to the character.
Exactly. Yeah, like that show didn't even make it past like 3 or 4 episodes before HBO yanked it because it was so bad.
Wow. Okay, I'll be perfectly honest. I heard it was coming out and then I heard nothing and I just figured it went nowhere.
It went super fucking woke, and even people who were Fairweather comic book fans were like, this show is shit. Steve and I didn't watch it. There's no way in hell.
I have a sneaking suspicion that show was possibly sabotaged from within.
Oh,
really? Are you talking producers or are you talking, ideologically speaking?
No, I think that the people writing the episodes didn't want to be writing the episodes. And that they just didn't give a fuck and they were collecting a check or possibly just outright hated the show they were writing and what they were being told by the producers. Because, the showrunners the showrunner and the producer is the one that guides the direction of the show and then the writers have to do it.
Yeah.
And the reason being is that after doing that show, 2 of the head writers went to make The Hunt.
Oh.
That's the one with Betty Gilpin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, first time I ever saw her was on the show Glow. Because I remember, did you guys ever watch Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling as kids? Because I did. I
Oh
was
yeah,
weird.
sure I did. Absolutely.
I actually didn't
loved
know
that
it existed, but
show.
I watched American Gladiators.
See, Glow was the first one that I watched, and American Gladiators came out later, and I watched that too. And I liked the show from Netflix, and then the second season it got woke, so I quit watching. But Betty Gilpin was she was the main protagonist along with Alison Brie. And it was great. They really did a good job capturing what Glow was. So, but I've never seen The Hunt, and I want to because I love Betty Gilpin.
I'm trying to see if I can't possibly get those writers on the show for the writers' room. I don't know if I can, because I've got questions for them, because it's a very imbalanced film, and it really feels like Blumhouse got scared.
It's like you have a really good film and you have a really shitty film, and nobody knows which one they're supposed to be working on.
Well, yeah, it's very imbalanced. It does feel like two different movies crammed together. It seems like there was a lot of stuff shot after the fact to give the audience more blood and gore that didn't initially belong there.
And some of that irrelevant humor that is also random.
Yeah.
Which doesn't work. I mean, there are scenes that feel like also random, Tim and Eric quality idiocy, and then the scene will change and it's brilliant writing. It is amazingly brilliant writing. It's like, did I just change the channel on accident?
In fact, I would recommend, if you watch it, okay, here's my advice. You're going to get an opening where you see text messages. Brilliant. You get a scene of on an airplane. After the dude gets stabbed in the neck, the movie stops. The movie turns into a different film.
Okay.
And it remains a different film until the characters get to the gas station.
Yeah.
And then the movie starts again. And it is some of the best damn writing and acting I have seen in ages.
And there's a couple of scenes where, again, the movie stops for a little bit while another movie, steps in. But overall, it was good.
Okay, yeah, I want to see it because, number one, it's got Betty Gilpin in it, and I like her. But number two, I actually heard from people that it was weird but good.
It's confused at times.
No, I really, really think that we'll never get it, but I'd love to see what the work print was or a director's cut, because it is very clear that it was meddled with and there are scenes missing. And there were parts where we're watching, we're like, wait a minute, this scene's cut short.
Where people were talking and then then you'll have a cut to something else. It's the same scene, but there'll be a cut, and now they're talking about something completely different. It's like, okay, something's missing at this part. I'm guessing there's probably 2 minutes of dialogue that were cut.
Also, one thing that kind of gets me, we'll talk about this. I was very impressed. One of the things that people seem to get wrong about the film, spoiler alert, and I will be giving, this is a spoiler alert, is a lot of people say, well, it's pretty even-handed. I mean, it rips on conservatives a lot too. But if you're paying attention, it does, but not as much as you think. Because you find out that the ones that are acting the most stereotypical are plants to guide the narrative, that they were seated within the group to pull the people along.
Yeah.
They aren't really conservative. It's what liberals think of conservatives.
Yeah.
Along with the most racist statements are always from liberal characters or liberal characters pretending to be conservatives. What?
Interesting.
I want to say a scene, but I don't want to give anything away. So
there's also another really interesting subtext that unfortunately most people aren't going to get. And that is, it has, granted, the most dangerous game was the overarching theme. And please, I hope everybody in the audience knows what I'm talking about. And if you don't, look it up. Seriously, it's a short story. It's a quick read. It's classic pulp. You should know it. But that's kind of the framing, is liberal people doing the most dangerous game with conservative targets.
Mm-hmm.
But really, there's a subtext throughout the film about Animal Farm, down to they've named some of their targets after characters from Animal Farm.
Mm-hmm.
There's a recurring theme of pigs. Every time you see a pig, it's a deception. I mean, it's like a coded message. Like in Ghost in the Shell, or anytime you see Mamoru Oshii's films, anytime you see the Basset Hound, question what you're seeing. Is it memory? Is reality really what you think it is? It does something like that, but with pigs in The Hunt.
Oh, now I really want to see
and
it.
the twist is, you've got all these high-minded liberals that don't understand what they think they're preaching.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm convinced.
But yeah, I would love to see a director's cut and see what was on the cutting room floor of that film. Because, yeah, that whole opening Hunger Games segment just seemed so
out of place and
poorly written and
poorly written, poorly everything, poorly executed.
Yeah.
It was just, it was very obvious that was added. I'm sure the bones of it was there already, but I think it was a reshoot, quite frankly.
Well, didn't everybody get cold feet because they were coming out and saying, "Oh, this movie trashes liberals because liberals are hunting down conservatives and blah 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 blah," and it's a MAGA
it was
movie.
both ways, and I almost wonder, was it purposely mismarketed? Because proper marketing, everyone would have known exactly what it's about. And then it was delayed by, I think, 4 months. And then it was released quietly.
So again,
go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, 4 months is a long enough time to do some of those reshoots from scenes that just don't seem to work right, like the scene of them talking inside the pillbox.
Yeah.
I swear that's another reshoot.
Well, the people need to see it to understand.
Yeah.
It seems like most of the scenes with the liberals got cut.
Yeah.
You don't see them.
Oh.
Yeah. It just like, there are large segments where it's like, where'd this character come from? Who the fuck's that?
Is he going to cut or, again, completely rewriting what people are saying? But anyway.
Oh, it's more than just standalone complex. It's most of Oshii's work after Ghost in the Shell. I don't know if there's a Basset Hound in...
there is in Skycrawlers.
No, I know in Skycrawlers. I meant Jinro. I don't know if there's one in that one.
I need to go back and watch the first couple of seasons of Standalone Complex. Because I don't remember. I only remember the Basset Hound vaguely.
The Basset Hound, it's not as major a factor in Standalone Complex. I'm talking primarily the films of Mamoru Oshii, which would be Ghost in the Shell, Ghost in the Shell 2, Innocence, Skycrawlers, Avalon. Those are the ones I know for a fact he uses that symbolism.
Gotcha.
I don't know about Jinro.
I think a Basset Hound does show up very briefly in Pat Labor.
Yeah, it does. And it's always, if you see the Basset Hound, it's question perception. Pat Labor 2 is like one of those forgotten classics. See that film too. I mean, my God, that was underrated. It's another Oshii film.
Okay.
By the way, Mamoru Oshii is one of the huge influences on my writing and the stories I tell. So,
Ergo Proxy.
Oh my
that
God,
was
I
good.
love that. Was Ergo Proxy is one of the best animes I have ever seen. It was completely different. I just the way that you had oh gosh, what's her name? The main character, even her name meant something, but she looked so different from everybody else because she wore the dark blue eyeshadow. It made her stand out.
Well, you know about her, right?
Wasn't she a clone of it's been I saw it when it first came out ages
Oh
ago.
no, not that, not that.
Oh.
Her character design.
Her character design was specifically meant to look like Amy Lee from Evanescence.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. That makes a lot of sense. I just always liked the character because she had that cool dark blue eyeshadow. Then she and there was the
Rael?
guy
Yeah, Ray
that
Al.
had no memories. Wasn't his name Vincent?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vincent Law, and again, her name is Rael.
Or Real.
Yeah, Real.
Yeah, Real. That was it.
So yeah, I mean, there was an interesting period, and again, I really, it seems like there's still good anime coming out of or being made in Japan. We're not getting it.
Mm-mm.
We're getting all the crap. I mean, it's kind of
Well-
depressing because for a while we were getting some great stuff, and that Japan went through this period where they were doing all these great animes that had these subtexts of Western philosophy. And so that's apparently still to a degree going on. We just don't get it anymore.
Well, there's a Paranoia Agent.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Paranoia Agent, Psychopaths was another,
Yeah,
Oh,
that's more contemporary.
Psychopaths was phenomenal.
Mhm.
Yeah. where they're all wrestling with similar themes.
Well, Psychopaths I thought was interesting because I watched Psychopaths and then I read this book. I'm trying to remember what it's called, but it was about this murder in Roppongi in Japan, and of a British girl. And through the story of the investigation into this girl's murder, you learn a lot about how the police work in Japan. And I don't know if it's like this now. I mean, this particular murder took place 20 years ago. But in 2002, either policemen were the 1950s smiling guy on, walking his beat, just your friendly average policeman who all he wants to do is catch petty crimes and just be your friend, or they were kind of corrupt, shisty people.
Well, it was the beat cop was primarily just kind of supposed to have this image of the neighborly cop,
But
and then the detectives apparently were vastly corrupt.
They were vastly corrupt. Not only that, 90% of all convictions hinged solely on the perpetrator confessing. The police wouldn't actually take the time to find evidence. They would catch somebody and then hold them for 72 hours and basically torture them with no sleep and no food until they would confess. And that's how 90% of their convictions were. They had no homicide division. They had no vice division. They had no specialty cops at all. If there was a specialty case, they'd put together a task force for that case alone and then dismantle it afterwards. And so when finding out how the police worked, at least back then, and then watching Psychopaths was weird because suddenly all sorts of things of why are they doing this in Psychopaths made sense now, right down to the big mascots blocking off the roads for people and looking friendly and happy. They do that there.
Oh yeah, I've seen the weird police robots for real.
Yeah, because it's like, we're happy, we're friendly. It you don't have to worry about it. It's okay. It's like, oh my god, they really do that.
That shit was freaky watching Psychopaths originally, like the smiling face robots. Nothing to see here. It's like, oh, that's so creepy. Like, yeah, there's like a vicious murder behind us, but it's okay. Smile and move along.
Yep, don't worry about it. It's okay.
Like, that's some dystopian shit.
Well, I think it's also very timely.
Oh, yes. The one thing I liked about Psychopaths, which is, it didn't necessarily have to do with the cops. I like the psychology behind the fact that it doesn't matter if you're a cop or not. You see any sort of trauma, that is going to change your brain.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was interesting because who was it? One of the main characters' father ended up part of the psychopaths group because he saw like horrible corruption, and so it changed his quote unquote color. He became cloudy. I thought that was interesting.
Real quick, Eloise, give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna go grab my phone because I read it as an audiobook. So give me 2 seconds, and I'll give you the name of the author.
So older anime had balls and it also had talent. And I also have a theory on why us Westerners are getting the shitty anime now.
Oh, I know why.
They're sick and tired of the fucking woke shit. They're sick and tired of Funimation rewriting all their lines. They're tired of the animes being cut up and censored. So yeah, like they're gonna give us the shitty stuff, and it sucks.
Well, it's worse than that.
Oh, it is. Oh dear.
Oh, it's worse than that. Remember I told you about where things went horribly wrong with comics and animation here?
Yes.
When corporate America realized that, hey, wait a minute, the millennials outnumber the Gen Xers by almost was it for every 2 Gen Xers, there's 3 millennials.
Yeah.
And they just ditched us as an audience. They said, fuck it.
Same thing.
Yeah, I mean, the stuff that appealed to us, is not being purchased anymore. There isn't the market for it, or there is less interest because most of these companies are based on the quick hit. They want something that they can publish quickly and, like pop music, get a huge burst of money out of it and then move on to the next disposable thing. Stuff like, Ghost in the Shell, Psycho, stuff where you get a long-term audience that is just dedicated, who's going to buy everything. That takes more work to actually sell something like that. Now, the long-term payoff's better, but the short-term isn't. I mean, it takes a lot more work to do that. Also, let's face it, the current audience is so much easier to offend.
Oh, yeah.
So we're getting primarily the fluff, the romances, the cutesy shit, the saccharine sweet crap, really disposable pop. And it is depressing.
I'm surprised they haven't tried to cancel Berserk yet. For real.
I think it's partially because it's just so damn influential.
Yes.
I mean, it's just like when they tried to do all that, they continually tried to cancel Lupin the Third.
That's such a good show. I love that show.
It's like one of the most successful properties in Japan ever. Let's see. I'm going to pull up something. What would be a average title for the 80s? Battle of the Planets. Gotcha Man. How about that?
I was going to say Ninja Scroll.
Oh, isn't that 90s?
You're right. That's early 90s. But Macross. There's one.
Oh my. Yeah, let's go to Macross. One of my favorites.
Oh, Ironcast Knight Escaflowne is one of my favorite animes.
Oh, Escaflowne.
That was one of our first dates.
God, that was so good.
We saw Escaflowne together at UCSD.
Oh, I see. I have the entire anime. I remember saving up money when it first came out on DVD. Remember when they came out in individual sets, so the sets were huge? I went to Best Buy in Grossmont Center, and I'd saved up my money, and I bought the entire 26 episode of Escaflowne. I love the fact they didn't say it, but it was heavily hinted that the main bad guy was an alternate version of Sir Isaac Newton.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
God, it's been forever since I've seen it.
Such a good anime.
Very quick. Eloise, the book is entitled People Who Eat Darkness by Richard Lloyd Perry, Parry. So, People Who Eat Darkness, Richard Lloyd Perry.
Okay, so what does old anime have that modern anime is missing? Okay. Now, this is a very low compression opening, okay? So we're not even seeing a very high-res version of this. Look at the artistry in that. This was a weekly TV show. This is fucking beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
compare, there's style to it, there's motion. I mean, even with the crappy frame rate that we're getting with the compression here,
That Top Gun, man.
it's we don't get that anymore. That would be boxed CGI crap. They're just, it'd be very lifeless. But you see,
Well-
there's an actual style to this. There's an artistry to what we're looking at.
Something that is just as cool but not as highly animated. It's the fact that Transformers, somebody actually had to animate them going from one mode to another. That's not CG'd.
Yeah.
Somebody actually had to animate that, like that opening sequence.
I always
So-
like the explosions in the background. How
Yeah.
they did
Mhm.
it was amazing.
Or let's do something. You said Ninja Scroll, which I think, then the late 90s, early aughts were almost like the peak of anime as far as style.
Trigun.
Oh God, Trigun's so good. Outlaw
got-
Star, Cowboy Bebop. I love those space westerns, the anime space
Mhm.
westerns. Those were so good.
I've got the soundtrack to Trigun. I'll occasionally break it out.
I sadly cannot get my husband to watch Trigun. He thinks it's stupid. My
Ah.
heart about broke. He gets mocked mercilessly for it. Like, you're an
Aw.
anime fan and you don't like Trigun? What's wrong with you?
Dude, that opening scene in the bar?
Yes, I know.
Shit.
I mean, again, see, look how stylized that is.
Oh, Rurouni Kenshin. Samurai X?
Yeah. And again, we're looking at very compressed, low frame rate here, and it looks good.
Mm-hmm.
And this was an era in which they actually were using CGI, like this is the CGI here.
Mm-hmm.
But it
It
was
wasn't
this
a
wonderful,
crutch.
it was a wonderful balance. Standalone Complex did a great job of it.
Well, they used it for the Tachikomas, and all the people were, drawings.
And I mean, just there's cinematography to this.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking at artwork. This is art. How do you spell Dorohedoro?
Doroho. Doroho. Doro.
I probably fucked it up, but
No, there it is.
No,
Doro.
you got it.
now
No,
this is actually high-end modern animation.
I'm still
And-
waiting for season 2 to come out.
The manga is great.
the manga's amazing.
I would love this scene.
It was this scene that got me to buy it.
Oh my God.
But do you see the lack of style? You look at the form here.
Well, it's also very jerky and it's missing frame rate.
Well, it's not that. That's the compression.
No, it's not the compression. I've seen this not compressed. The fight scenes are very jerky.
Now, maybe other people can't see it. I can see these are 3D models cel shaded. And I can see it in the motion. I can see it in their figures. It's a very mathematical aspect to their movements. That's a loop. Look at the line weights. They're uniform. There is no variation in the line weight. There's no motion to the hair other than what the computer spits out. Look at the reflection in the eye.
It's flat.
Yeah, it just... And this is a high-end one. What was one though where we couldn't believe how bad it was? It's... I don't know. I see this and I see video game FMV.
No, all the ones that are coming to mind, I'd say, are high end, like Tokyo Ghoul and Death Note.
No, Death Note was not CGI'd. It was
No.
a mix.
No,
But Tokyo Ghoul, yeah. I mean, and you can see they're trying very hard to mimic the older style.
I was going to say, the background looks like the older style. Like,
There. Does that not look like a video game run sequence? Now, maybe I'm just old. Maybe other people don't see it. But again, just the lack of line weight is the giveaway for me. And the fact that they don't move the way the older ones did.
What about Basilisk? Did you guys ever watch Basilisk?
I did not. I saw it on the shelf, but I never watched it. Was it
It's,
Samurai Champloo?
It's the same not myth, legend that Ninja Scroll was based on. The warring ninja clans.
Oh.
Samurai Champloo.
But yeah, you see the change in the line weights. You look at the lighting tone. Look at the eyes. And the thing is, these don't move like solid models. These are drawings. But do you see the change in line weights here? And the thing is here, this actually is drawn, I believe, in Illustrator.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like it was the best of both worlds. You still had the cell animation style.
Yeah. It was done digitally.
Right. So it was produced quicker and cheaper, but you didn't really lose anything.
Venus Wars. Oh, that is such a good anime.
Desert Punk.
Yeah.
That was a
Yes,
good one.
Desert Punk.
Again, I just, you can't compare it. And that's just the art style. We're not even talking about writing.
What about Redline?
Oh,
Redline's the exception.
Okay.
Redline is great.
Yeah.
That was purposely done to break away from the stiffness of CGI and to do something very stylistic and unique.
Well, it used it as a tool, as a storytelling implement, not a way to make things cheaper or, worst of all, cut corners.
Yeah.
There are no corners cut with Redline.
That soundtrack's phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there you go. Gantz. I really like Gantz. I think it's a great story, but I was kind of disappointed with the anime.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, the anime was enjoyable, but the art was
It was
there.
too CGI for me.
Yeah, it was just very stiff.
It was very obvious.
Like the latest season of Ghost in the Shell is way too CGI for me.
I won't watch it.
I will say the story was good.
Was
Steve and
it?
I sat and watched it. Yeah, the story was actually surprisingly good, but the artwork was so jarring for me. It really made me crave going back to old school anime.
Didn't they make the Major a kid?
No.
No, there's a new one now. You're thinking of Ghost in the Shell Rise. This is a new one.
Oh, this is a new one. Okay.
Oh, is this the alternate timeline where she's like a 19-year-old hacker?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I wouldn't watch that. So there's a newer one after that, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Rise was good, but the artwork, the animation style took me a while to get used to. It was pretty jarring. But the storyline made up for it.
Midnight Eye Goku. Story incomprehensible, but beautiful to look at.
Oh, Sayuki! Have you guys seen Sayuki? Oh, please tell me. Oh,
no.
Guys, you're killing me.
Sayuki.
It's Journey to the West.
Oh.
The lady that made the manga for Sayuki, she started out as a yaoi artist, so all of them look bishy. They look like bishy boys, but they're such assholes, and they do not act like bishy boys. So you're like, wait, you got all these hot bishy anime guys, or like, in the case of Son Goku, this cute anime boy, and they're just absolute assholes. And like, so you have Sha Gojo, who's Oolong from Dragon Ball is what Sha Gojo is, and he's still a horn dog. You still have Son Goku, who all he can do is eat. And then Ginjo Sanzo, who's the Buddhist priest, he's takes his Buddhism to the level of nihilism. He's like true neutral. He doesn't give a fuck about anyone or anything. And he chain smokes and drinks. So yes,
Okay,
Sayuki's great.
So which one was the story was okay? Was it 2045 or was it Arise? Which one was that had the okay story with Ghost in the Shell?
Is 2045 the original standalone complex with the Laughing Man?
No.
No, 2045 was was released in April 23rd of 2020 to May 23rd of 2022
On
Okay.
Netflix.
Then that's the sequel to Arise. Actually, Steve and I didn't think it was bad. We liked it.
I just cannot deal with them not. The Major is a woman. She's not a fucking kid. That ending of the first film is a metaphor.
Oh yeah, it was supposed to be her rebirth because in the manga she gets a new body after the putting her and the kid, and she's like a Caucasian woman. She has blue hair, or no, I'm sorry, not blue hair. Freudian slip, blonde hair.
Well, it depends. I mean, initially, it was played more for humor. I mean, it didn't quite have the depth that the Yoshi film had, but in the manga originally, the only body,
the Shiro
the Shiro manga, the only body Bateau could find on short notice was this very mannish looking woman with big hands.
I thought it was a dude.
And she says, "I thought your voice was kind of dude. This body's a man. Why'd you get it for me?" I don't know. Yeah, it's just, yeah, I don't know. Partially, I guess it's age, and you start to see things happen. And one of the things I've had to come to accept as I spend more time on Earth is that periods in history end, art movements end. You know, maybe anime has seen its renaissance, and now that renaissance is past, and maybe another one will return, but I might be dead. You know, I'm sorry. I know that sounds depressing. Something else will have to show up, and something new will have to take its place. Some new form of creativity or art.
Wolf and Ironcast Knight keep naming off the greats.
Oh yeah.
Appleseed, Dominion Tank Police.
Oh, all of those. Yeah, aren't those
Devilman, Bubblegum Crisis. I've seen all those.
But you know, you think about it like
Vampire Hunter D.
You know, the 1930s into the early 40s, you had the gangster film, which gave rise to then the film noir, which then died out and gave rise to the spy films. And Westerns stayed for a lot longer, though. Westerns continued.
But they evolved.
Yeah.
They definitely evolved.
And then the spy genre died, and it moved on. And so, you know, I mean, I guess to some degree, I need to accept that, you know, artistic periods move, change, and right now anime kind of sucks. Unfortunately, actually, right now everything kind of sucks unless you're buying alternative, and until something really gets a foothold, like maybe the Ripperverse, it's going to be a while. So you guys should really just start buying more of my books. God damn it! Why aren't you?
Be nice. Be nice.
What? This is just my humor.
I know.
Do you think this is hurting my sales?
Well, I've been looking at the numbers we've been having, and I swear, not only do we have our regulars, we've got some new people. So be nice.
Okay, actually, I'm not a nice person.
You're a writer.
I'm a good person. How about that?
Yeah, that's true.
You know, I think it will. I do think Dark Wave will return in a big way. I've been shocked. I thought Industrial was dead, and it has made a comeback. It's just you got to pay attention.
Oh,
Dark Wave's getting kind of a comeback because of the you're gonna laugh, Stranger Things introducing people to post-punk, goth, and new wave.
So Synthwave gave rise to more Dark Wave?
Yeah, like I didn't know this, but Chris's generation had never really heard of 80s music until Stranger Things came out. That's why the psychedelic furs have started making a comeback. Kate Bush made a comeback because nobody had ever given them 80s music. Chris, my kid, like Steve and I have like bombarded him with it. But
Well,
we
you
didn't know.
raised him right.
Damn right. Um, but yeah, like I guess kids didn't know who fucking Depeche Mode was. I'm like, are you kidding me?
criminal.
No. What makes me annoyed is when you see a kid wearing a Depeche Mode or a Metallica or a Nirvana shirt. It's a band.
No. The Joy Division shirt.
Oh God.
Where they're wearing that and they don't know what it is.
My
Yeah.
parents got it for me at Hot Topic.
It's like become this generation's version of the Ramones shirt.
Oh God.
You know, nobody who owns a Ramones shirt actually owns a Ramones album, except for maybe Razor Fist.
Okay, so David Jack says we need a superhero character in a comic book who's on a team with a liberal hero and a conservative hero, Hawk and Dove.
Yeah.
Ditko, 1970. I forget.
Yeah.
So we're talking the original Hawk and Dove?
Yeah,
Okay.
not the pussy one that came later.
Mhm.
And a few third-party heroes, and a centrist hero, an apolitical hero. Well, no. The centrist fence sitter would be Tim Pool Man, Chicken Man.
You sure
You know,
he wouldn't be like this era's version of Queen, Green Arrow?
You know, I think you're onto something. Oliver Queen,
Yeah.
Oh, he's the
The ri-
screaming SJW.
Yeah.
the rich kid pretending he's not rich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He the communist who's rich.
I
always
always
loved when Hal Jordan would smack him down with
I
his
know.
stupidity. God, it was so good.
I would love to do a story where I team Green Arrow up with somebody like the Question or Huntress or give me a character. It doesn't matter. Batman.
Oh, we've seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Actually,
have
Batman
one of
mocks the
those.
hell out of him. It's funny.
what was great when Johns was still actually a good writer, when Jeff Johns was a good writer,
Mm-hmm.
was the hatred between Queen and Oliver Queen hated Hawkman, and Hawkman just didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Hey, you dirty fascist. Kill anybody lately? Maybe.
Always like Carter Hall.
Yes. Although that now makes me think, Oliver Queen versus Black Adam.
Oh my God.
That would be great. Of course, the new Black Adam movie looks shit.
No. I'm pretending that's not a thing.
Well, you heard why there's a Black Adam movie, because Dwayne Johnson got cast as Black Adam and then said, I don't want to be overshadowed by Shazam. Captain Marvel. I'm sorry, that still drives me nuts. It's Captain Marvel. So I want my own movie. He was supposed to be the first villain in the original movie. But yeah, he did the same thing to that he did to the Fast and Furious franchise. I want my own movie.
Now, see, you introduce him as the villain in in one movie, but the great thing about Black Adam in the books is that he's a gray area. He has different morals. Yes, some people will see him as a villain, some people will not, and I love that character. I love how he's like Namor. He's just the big asshole who's going to tell you all, I'm the biggest dick in the room and I dare you to prove me otherwise. So I'd love to see him versus Oliver Queen.
That would be hysterical. Oliver Queen wouldn't stand a chance. Because he'd probably call him a fascist and a dictator, a genocidal dictator, and Black Adam would just be like, okay.
And
your point. My country has no crime.
Yeah.
Everybody loves me.
Well, again, before John's cucked out, and then somebody else, I don't know who was it, did the World War III storyline where they just turned Black Adam genocidal and kind of wrecked the character. But before, when Johns was writing him and Johns wasn't cucked out, the point being is, well, maybe Western democracy was never meant for the Middle East. That was a pretty ballsy statement.
Yeah, that was, well, wasn't that right at the height of the Afghanistan-Iraq war?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was actually real. I liked Black Adam during that, when he got married to ISIS, and her brother, they had their own little like Shazam family, and they were doing good things too. And whereas Black Adam was harsh, ISIS was softer, and she kind of soothed his rage. And when her and her brother got killed, that's when you had the World War III storyline.
And I noticed that the guy who wrote that never wrote anything else again.
Yep.
Because that story sucked. So, because they were talking about T-shirts, here's a few of them from my youth. Hey, man, miss this shirt. This was a cool one. Tactical neural implant. Had a lot of
they
fun.
Have one for Millennium?
I don't remember if I had that one. I think I did.
I like that album.
You also know about my Front 242 shirts, which I've been able to replace. I can't seem to replace the Frontline shirts. But yeah, I own a lot of these. Still, I was able to replace them after they went up in flames. Some really cool Skinny Puppy shirts as well. What the hell? There we go. Well, it's bit napping.
Because it's a knockoff.
Oh.
There you go. Helicopter rides.
But yeah, let's see. The Ministry, best one of them.
I will never wear or buy anything Ministry again.
Yeah, Al has so sold out.
I've been going through my my music collection, just listening to everything I've compiled over the years and going, oh yeah, I should put that back into rotation. And every time it comes up with a Ministry song, I was like, I can't hear this anymore.
I'll listen to old Ministry. I just can't. The new shit. It's like, dude.
No, I can't. Every Day is Halloween has been ruined.
You know what? I can still listen to With Sympathy, their very first album.
Really? You can't listen to Mind?
I don't know. Like, ever since I saw the Antifa video that he made, anything after Twitch, I have a hard time with.
Really?
Yeah. Just because it's like, I hate you. I hate you now.
Well, yeah, he's basically completely sold out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying. Okay. I'm having a brain fart. What album was it? They had the song that Ministry did that was in the Matrix. I can still. It was the one that was the album that was the
Reload.
guy wearing
That's
the
from,
dunce hat.
Filth Pig.
Oh, okay. I can still listen to that song. But yeah, I mostly just stick to the first two albums. Hopefully I get over it. But yeah, just that Antifa theme song. I was like, you asshole.
Mm-hmm.
You probably just drove away like half your fan base or more.
Oh man, so many people ripped on him. So I used to have this shirt, but for some reason, the woman who raised me didn't like it. And came into my room one night and threw it in the washer on the hot with bleach.
I'm just gonna say, and this is me trying to make light of some dark stuff. I think that the Cosmos just didn't want you to have Skinny Puppy shirts.
Yeah, it might be true.
Dark.
Well, one had a butthole in it, so
yeah, that was a souvenir.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, my PIL. I used to have a couple of cool PIL shirts. I had the one from 9.
NEIN?
Yeah. Well, it was just the number 9.
Well, I was wondering if is it 9 or is it 9?
Oh no,
The number 9.
ninth number
Ninth number
of the alphabet.
I was just it's appropriate, I would think, for PIL to have a album named 9 as in the word no in German. Eloise, the reason we're not getting the good anime is because of translators and localizers. Does that mean that they've set themselves up as gatekeepers and tastemakers?
Yes, they have. And what we need to do is start making our own fucking companies, or really seize the companies we had started. What are you looking for?
Goddamn Bacon says the Antifa theme song, couldn't that have just been the Teletubbies opening song? Wow, I want to do that. Just have him being like stupid in front of that green screen, looking all hard with that stupid Antifa song, but really it's like the Teletubbies song playing.
Oh God, please do that.
Silva, basically what is affecting anime is what is affecting video games. It's too expensive to have quality experienced people to get kicked out or have burnout, and inspiration is stagnant.
Yeah, also, there was a mass wave of firings starting around 2015 thanks to wokeness. All the talent was either sexual harassmented out. Oh, you did this, you said that, you're this offensive,
I own volumes 1 through 4 of Die Dark.
So yeah, a lot of the talent got chased out thanks to feminism, and then woke just made it worse. And really, yeah, I mean, Hollywood also went through this phase where apparently they just fired anyone who was experienced because they figured, oh, we'll just hire cheap millennials right out of college.
And computers will chunk it out for us too.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. I dare you to find a movie whose CGI made today, big blockbuster movie, whose CGI even comes close to the original Jurassic Park.
As far as believability?
Yeah, as far as believability, being able to tell what's CGI and what's not, I dare you.
You could say the same about Starship Troopers.
Oh, yeah, totally.
I love that movie.
Yeah, CGI from like the 90s shouldn't look better than like She-Hulk.
I'm sorry.
Didn't even try.
This picture of Greta Thunberg that popped up, she looks like he is Vigo, but in drag.
Well, kind of on the nose, isn't it? She is Vigo.
No, I can respect Vigo.
Oh, yeah, true. Oh, I was gonna.
I mean, come on, he's voiced by Max von Sydow.
Guys, I gotta call it a
Yeah,
night. I have to
wake.
I have to go to bed in a half an hour. I just saw what time it is. No wonder I'm like,
yeah,
okay.
I gotta work tomorrow too.
Yeah,
I was trying to find. There's this guy who used to work in Hollywood who basically has a channel. He just is kind of a tell-all of, okay, well, this is why this sucks. No, there was this guy that
Drinker.
No, this has been a guy who had been working there since the 80s.
Oh, okay.
Who was just saying, no, this is what's going on behind the scenes, and this is why this guy.
Call me Chateau.
Let's see.
Call me Chateau. Okay.
Yeah, this guy will explain it. He totally gets into why everything sucks ass.
Oh, William Silva knew who you were talking about.
All right. Well, let's call it a night. Buy my books. I don't know what else.
Buy Issues books.
Yeah.
Buy Issues books and stay awesome. Thank you all.
Night, guys.
Good night.